Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is our second lecture on Adrian Rich. In our previous lecture, we were discussing the concept of feminism and how feminism started and what are its basic uh, propositions. We discussed that how patriarchy is the system which is a male dominant system, and they divide society into two spheres. One is the public sphere and the other is the domestic sphere. The public sphere is the sphere of decision making in the field of politics, society, economics, and other affairs, and that field is controlled by men. And they have confined women to the domestic sphere, and they are of the view that women they should only confine themselves to taking care of their family and taking care of their children and doing household work. This concept it was challenged by feminism. Feminists say that patriarchy it presents women as limited to their domestic sphere, and they say that women are biologically suited for that purpose. But feminists are of the view that these roles they are not biological but social. This was mean in when the feminism as a movement it started. They demanded that women should have equal opportunities in the society. They should also be allowed to take part in the public sphere, in the decision making, and they should be treated equally when it comes to salary, when it comes to wages and job opportunities and all that. Now, there are some other very important concepts related with feminism. Our first concept that we would discuss today is the concept of good girl and bad girl. In in a society that is a patriarchal society, we see that in movies, in novels, in TV dramas, that girls are there are two types of girls that would be shown, that would be represented. The first category would be that girl who is very obedient and who believes in the patriarchal ideology. She takes care of her family and she takes care of all the people who are associated with her, and then she never challenges the patriarchal ideology or the patriarchal belief system. She is a good girl, and at the end, she gets married to the man of her choice. This is her reward. On the other hand, there is this concept of the bad girl. The bad girl is the one who does not believe in patriarchal ideology. She is not obedient and she challenges the beliefs and conventions, and this is the reason that she is considered bad and she is presented as bad, and in the movies and TV plays at the end she is punished. This concept of the good girl and the bad girl, it the purpose of that is that when you watch movies or read novels and you come across this binary of good and bad girl, you start to, especially the girls, they start to idealize the good girl and hate the bad girl. As a result, they start to mold their personalities, shape their personalities according to the good girl, on the basis of the good girl, and in this way what happens that they incorporate the ideology of patriarchy. So in this way, this concept of the good girl and the bad girl, it is it serves the purpose of ideology, patriarchal ideology. Our second concept is patriarchal law and morality. Now, the patriarchal law and morality, because the society is in the control of men, so law and morality, it is also devised by or controlled by men. So they have made laws and moral values which suit them, and any woman who would um, who would not obey the patriarchal ideology, they would mean their laws, the laws of the society and the morality of the society would condemn her. For example, because the society is in control of men, so if they do certain moral sins, then it would be considered as something positive, or if not positive, then they would not be condemned. But if a woman does that, she would be labeled and she would be an outcast, she would become an outcast, and she would not be given due status in the society. If, for example, a man has many girlfriends, then it would not be considered as bad. But if a woman has many boyfriends, then it would be considered really very bad. So, our next concept is patriarchal ideology. Ideology means a system of belief, a system of codes, uh, ideas, and practices. Now, patriarchal ideology is that belief system in which men are presented as superior and women as inferior. Patriarchal ideology presents women in the light of biological essentialism, which means that women are biologically inferior, that they were just meant to perform one or two functions, that is reproduction and caring of their family, and apart from that they do not have any kind of function in the society. They do not have intellectual abilities, they cannot contribute in politics, in society, in economics, and other spheres. And this ideology, it is justified or it is promoted through many different ways, through media, through print media, through electronic media, through education system. And in this way, when women they are brought up in that kind of environment, in that kind of system, they also incorporate that ideology and start behaving according to it. So we can see that patriarchal ideology, it functions in a very subtle way, in a very secret way, and even men who are brought up in patriarchal societies, they also incorporate this ideology. They also adopt a certain role in the society. For example, patriarchal ideology tells them that men are supposed to be strong, men should not express their emotion, they should never weep, and in this way, they men also, it also has a very negative impact upon the psychology of men. When men are feeling emotional pain, they cannot express that pain because the society would not accept it, or it would make fun of it. Our last concept today is the three waves of feminism. Uh, Waves mean that there were three different phases of feminism. The first phase was in the 19th century when women for the first time started to ask for equal rights, uh, equal salary and vote rights, that we should also be given the right to vote in the elections. This is called the first wave of feminism. The second wave of feminism, it started after the Second World War, and women they started to raise this slogan that we are not equal to men, but we are different, and we should be treated in a different way. In the 1970s, a third wave started, which is more, uh, which is not an activist wave, but it is more related with textual resistance. That is, women in that wave they started to hold this opinion that until we change the mindset of the people, society cannot change. And this is the reason that these women they have started to write against patriarchal ideology, and they think that through literature and philosophy they should change the mindset of men, the mindset of patriarchy, and then it would be possible to start the male female relationship from a new aspect, from a new perspective. So this was some basic concepts of feminism, and we discussed them because Adrienne Rich, she is a very famous feminist poetess, and her poetry also revolves around feminism. So you should know about these concepts, you should know about these basic assumptions of feminism. In our next lecture, we would start the first poem of Adrian Rich. Till then, take care.